Here we are in my shop, my favorite place to be, of course. Pretty epic. What we have here in my shop is the Pulsar. If you guys saw in my last video, you guys just recently seen that I just did that gas tank swap, right? From the original kickstand that was originally on the first generation Pulsar to now converting it over to the new generation Pulsar and having the gas tank on the bottom. Like I said, go check out my last video, super epic. Now, what are we doing? I have here the MY20 just sitting in this box, ready to go on. The Vittorazi Moster 185, right? Just sitting there in a box, itching to be going back in the sky. I made the decision. I was debating on what motors to put on what. So I was thinking that it would just be easier if I just left this engine on the Star, but I feel like the MY22 that we have here on the Star frame is the engine that I do want to have on the Pulsar. So that being said, what do we have to do first? First off, we got to actually get the prop off, and we have to do basic things, you know, but really getting these engines off of these frames is actually very simple, very easy actually, especially with having a Skymax frame, right? So really, what does this require? The first thing that we're going to be doing is actually just taking off the prop. But what's really nice is that, like, I actually use a drill, right, with the same bit end that you need for the prop, right, for the Allen keys here. And you know, what's really nice about YouTube Magic editing is that instead of just wasting the time, I can just be like, you know, like this. Boom, just like that, the prop is off in my hands, right? And what's really sweet about this prop is that it's really a 3-piece, so let's do that. I'd like to actually always take this apart and not leave it like that, just in case, because you can always accidentally drop these and hurt it, right? But look, see how it's a 3-piece? Very nice and simple. So let's set this right here on the table. What's next, right? Next thing before we actually go taking the engine off is actually disconnecting the throttle, kill switch wire, and also the fuel line. So by doing all of that, we gotta just jump in here and get in this. Let's really quick dive into disconnecting this stuff on the carburetor. And what I'll probably do now too is just take the air filter off really quick. And like I said, that's just gonna require the Phillips screwdriver, and also it has its own little safety Velcro strap. YouTube Magic editing, right? Boom, the air filter, right? That's the next thing that I normally like to take off, because it'll be a lot easier to disconnect the fuel line and obviously disconnect the throttle cable. So now, next thing is fuel line. Needle nose. Watch out though when you use something like this, because it's known to jab underneath your fingernails. All right, fuel line's off. Now we're gonna jump into just disconnecting throttle linkage, which is just like I said, a simple flathead. Boom. We gotta break the locker nut here. Okay, locker nut's broken off. Boom. The locker nut. You guys can see it. It's hard to see. This is for the throttle cable. Let's put that right over here on the table so it's clear to see. Okay, so now the throttle cable now is actually disconnected off of carburetor, but it's not off of the bracket, which is what the 10mm is going to be for. And sometimes it's nice to grab like yourself a pair of pliers like this, or go back to the needle nose, just whatever you can grab easier, because this is a lock nut on here. So let's try the needle nose and the 10 first, see how that goes. Been a little while since I've done it. Oh, there it goes. This is like, if anything's the most biggest pain in the ass is actually working on this part of the carburetor of the whole entire engine, if you ask me, is just dealing with the throttle linkage. There's a lock nut on here, so you can't spin it with your hand no matter what. You gotta like keep spinning it till it's almost all the way out before you can spin it freely. But we almost got it, we're almost there. We just got it off. Okay, there's the nut right there on the table so we don't lose it. So the cable sits here in a bracket, right? The cable's completely disconnected. Now, next thing to disconnect is right up here on the top, which is kind of hard to tell in the video, but it's right here on the top. It's the kill switch wire. Boom. Part of your throttle cable setup. So now that's disconnected. Now, because we had our motor out of Georgia, I want to see how things are looking, you know, because I pulled my other plug out. It looked really crazy. Like, not like dangerous, but just a lot of buildup. Whoa. Actually, man, I don't like the looks of that at all. That's actually running really on the lean side. So what we're going to do, it's kind of hard to tell in the camera, but it's really white, so that's not that great. So what's the only thing that I haven't disconnected yet was pull starts. A lot of times with these pull starts, like I tie a certain type of knot, so hopefully, let's just not waste the time, we're gonna just cut it. So now pull starts disconnected, throttle cable's disconnected, fuel line's disconnected, and all our wire accessories are all disconnected. So now we really do have just the 4 motor mounts to disconnect. Be able to get my other engine on here today too, which would be really nice. Be able to get the MY20 on the star frame here. Get all these broken loose first. What I always do is I always take the bottom 2 ones off first, but I always break them all free first. I don't try to leave them all tight or any of them tight and then just get one all the way out. That's never good for, I think, anything when it comes to anything that you're tightening up, loosening, or... All right, we only have 1 more on here now. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is keep a hand on this. Try not to let it drop, of course. Trying to get this out. All right. Here it is, finally off, dude. Boom, look at that. Here's the back of the engine. Let's set this down right here on the box. Okay. What do we have going on? So now we have 2 of the paramotors here with no engine on it, right? Both just gas tanks. Let's jump and put the Pulsar right up here and flop these 2 around. These motors aren't really the lightest, but they're not the heaviest either. Like, they're very manageable. You just gotta be patient. We got it somewhat started. Man, look at that, guys. For the first time in my shop, we got the Pulsar with the MY22 on it, looking so nice right now. I am in love, looking so good. Okay, so now before we go any farther, what I would like to just do is throttle cable, which I do want to run on here really quickly. All right, there you have it, the epic Skymax Pulsar with the MY22 on it for the first time, like I said, in the shop. But right now we're just getting things a little bit tidy. We're going to swap things around again. Let's quit wasting time right here and let's swap these again and get the star back on here. All right, so we have the engine right here in the box. Let's go. All right, the engine. All right, so let's quit wasting time. The MY20 is on it just like that. Oh man, I'm so sorry. I should have put you right back up on here too. I didn't even put you right back up here. I was supposed to do that right away. Right now we're just putting the MY20 pull cord together, which is going well, really well. All right, so now we got the pull cord on, but now the next thing is fuel line. So let's get fuel line on. Okay, fuel line is on. Okay, throttle. Okay, so that's on. But like I said, I wanted to set the star right back up just so we have another paramotor instantly. But we're just slowly in the process of building the Pulsar, which I actually can't wait to try to see what it's going to look like with the prop on them both. That's what I can't wait to see right now. That's why I wanted to push myself and get to this point. Like, I didn't want to just stop. I don't want to not have a paramotor going. But positive attitude, right? We got the MY20 on here. I'm glad I have this engine. You know, I'm glad that I have the opportunity to have 2 paramotors right now, but I actually only have 1 harness, 1 reserve still, so I'm still working on that. So we gotta get another reserve, another harness, probably buy ourselves another throttle too, potentially. We're gonna see about that. Everybody also talks about this off-grid throttle. I think I do want to try it. What I wanted to get was a Skymax throttle just to see how their throttle would be, so that's why we have their throttle in the shop, regardless of whether if we use it or not. All right, the idea is when you put the cables on, you have to actually give it a little bit of slack. Not crazy amount of slack, just a little bit. And the reason being is because when you give it the slack, what you're doing is, like, if you have it too tight, what happens is when you, like, twist your wrist and stuff like that with the throttle cable, it's not good, because then you'll actually be just upping the RPM gauge. Okay, with a little bit of slack, that feels good. Let's see how the throttle feels, right? That's what really matters right here. Yep, twisting my wrist, no pull. Very nice. All right, this thing looks ready to go. And what's cool about this motor is this is the motor that I actually keep without the cooling shroud on. And normally I'll just keep prop spacer on here. I want the temperature gauge on here because I've actually never ran temps on this engine since I've actually owned it. Since the last time I ran it, I don't even remember what the plug looks like. It's just been so long. So look at the difference in this plug. This plug's not white at all. This is more of like what you want the motor to look like. Definitely got to check out and see what's going on with the 22. That's why, like I said, everyone, I don't want to rush it. I just want to take my time. I want to maybe order a carb kit for it, maybe a spring kit for the exhaust for it, and then also maybe a rebuild kit. We'll see. I'll talk to Sky Sports USA about that, but really I'm thinking about just taking the top of the head off and cleaning the head, which we'll do in another video. But I just wanted to do a video of doing a motor swap and also just installing another engine on here, which is sick. So boom, there we go. Man, that is awesome. So now this motor is actually ready to go. I put this styrofoam on there just being protected. Okay, so now airbox setup. This is a Velcro setup. This is actually the safety. And then you have obviously your hose clamp setup. That hose clamps around. Dude, this motor is ready to run, which is super epic. So now put the 2-blade on here. Yeah, let's get the 2-blade on here because I want to put the 3-blade on the Pulsar really bad. So we're gonna put the 2-blade on this and it's gonna be dope. All right, so let's do this. All right, dude, looking dope. All right, so let's get my other setup out here. We're gonna get the 3-blade on the other one here. Boom. All right, 3-blade is on. Bam! Can you guys believe it? This is super awesome, everybody. I cannot get over that I'm actually doing this, getting the chance to even get to do all this cool stuff too. And you know, I'm super grateful to be flying Skymax. I just love that I fly just a totally different company, you know, because Skymax, for most of you guys that don't realize, Skymax is a very unique paramotor company that is like, to me, Ferraris in the sky, you know? It's like, I love thinking about it like that, man. Dude, this thing is sick. MY20 on the Star, while we have the MY22 on the Pulsar. So sick. I cannot believe it. For the first time, it just looks so incredible. So that being said, everybody, I'm gonna clean up everything. I'm gonna properly put all my tools away like I always do, and then I need to get a list going on what I need to do with the Pulsar next, and then go from there. Because really, the Pulsar is basically ready, other than hooking up the fuel line, hooking up the throttle cable, and then obviously the harness. Like I said, for the time being, we're gonna keep flying the Star for now with the MY20 on here, which is epic. You know, I can't believe it. It's so nice that I just had this motor sitting in a box just waiting to go on another paramotor frame. So now, dude, this is so dope. We have the Skymax Star ready for flight. We have the Pulsar right around the corner, guys. So I am super excited. I hope you guys all enjoyed my little engine swap with the Vittorazi Moster 185s. Like I said, the MY20, MY22, super awesome with the 2-blade E-prop on here and the 3-blade E-prop on that one. Like I said, Skymax Star, Skymax Pulsar over there, guys. So I hope that you guys all did enjoy. I sure did. Make sure you guys all stay tuned because we're going to be dropping some really epic videos on the Pulsar. And like I said, if you guys are interested in ever buying a Skymax paramotor, hit me up at any time. I would love to help you guys out. Till the next one, everybody, I'll see you guys up in the sky. Peace out.